Good evening and happy spooky season, everybody. What's going on? What's going on, guys? I got we got a little dancer over here.
Is there a tiny dancer?
What's going on, guys? How's your day been?
Weird.
Day.
This is coconut.
What?
Coconut coffee?
They didn't have. They did. So normally I get Italian, like the international delight, and I get the French vanilla. They
Okay.
didn't have French vanilla, so I had to go with almond joy, and then the other one that I have is the Irish cream one. But the Irish cream one makes me want to go buy whiskey. So I
Uh, I low-key, I love Irish cream in my coffee. Like, but I get that. I get the whiskey.
That's right. It's just one of those things. It's like, okay, get the Irish cream. It's like, all right, there we go. It starts tasting good. But then it's like, this should just be whiskey at this point. Like, let's just.
Yeah, that's true.
Just be whiskey.
I'm mad that they only have like the almond joy one. I would prefer like the Mounds, like the dark chocolate. I think the dark chocolate and coconut would work out better, but that's just me.
I just want my French vanilla.
Oh, poor guy, poor guy.
Or pumpkin spice.
Ooh, oh
Spice
no,
creamer.
no,
Yes. Pumpkin spice
No.
creamer.
Basic white girl.
no. So fun fact, Jackie actually just recently started drinking coffee, probably about within the last year or so. And this is the first fall that she has been able to experience pumpkin spice. Anything really.
That is the greatest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, dude, I'm like, no. And like, she went out, she got her pumpkin spice creamer, and she's like, she tries it, and I look at her face, and her face just like lights up. I'm like, so how is it? She's like, oh my god, this is amazing. I'm just like, God damn it, great.
Get her the Han Solo outfit. She has to have the Han Solo outfit for fall.
No.
Yeah.
No.
She looks like the kind of woman that would rock the Han Solo.
That's fair. That's fair. She would.
She has the
She-
outfit, doesn't she?
She also seems like the person that when Xander says "I love you," she just says "I know."
I feel personally attacked.
You're kind of being personally attacked, Xander.
Oh, God. Well, anyway, good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 28 of Comic Relief, the live weekly talk show for all things comics, their on-screen adaptations, and everything in between here on the Box Network, the new talk show network covering comic, horror, anime, and music news. If you're joining us live on Twitch, please note that all alerts are muted as not to disrupt the flow of the show, but will be acknowledged at the soonest opportunity. If you're watching us on YouTube, an easy way to show your love and support is to make that YouTube algorithm happy by giving this video a like, share, and subscription to the Box Network. If you'd like to stay up to date with upcoming shows and news, join us on Discord or follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Links will be in the description box down below. But for now, on with the show. We are your hosts. I am Xander.
I'm Jagger, and tonight we are joined once again by our good friend Big Husky, and we'll be diving into the dark side of DC Comics.
Spooky.
Say hello to people, Husky,
Hi,
while you dance.
people.
Hi. But for now, the news. Xander,
Yes,
take us
the
away.
news. We got the nerd news. All right, so Venom 2 is on the brain right now. Venom 2 is on the brain. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and just get this out of the way right now. I'm going to hit us with the spoiler alert because I know you've seen it. I know I've seen some spoilers and stuff. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the ramifications of Venom 2. Now, I didn't actually see the full movie. Jagger, I want you to kind of talk on this a little bit.
Okay, so the movie as a whole, it was entertaining.
Mhm.
I disagree with the way they handled certain characters, mainly Carnage and Shriek. They didn't really explain their relationship good enough for me. They also didn't explain like symbiote offspring very well. They do like this little teaser thing where Carnage calls Venom dad, or he calls him father. Carnage was very well designed. They got his assimilation parts correct, where he gets bigger the more he assimilates.
Okay.
I do feel like it's one of those movies that suffered from studio cuts, really heavy, because I think if this movie
we can
had
get
been
a circus cut now.
The circus cut.
Well, that's the thing. That's the reason I was excited about it. Andy Serkis directing this film, and they were saying it's going to be an R-rated film. I'm like, oh great, this is going to be amazing. Carnage needs to be an R-rated film, and now we get this kind of watered down version of Carnage because it was cut down to PG-13. And I feel like all of the things that would have made this movie amazing were cut out to make it a PG-13 film. And now, after seeing the post-credit scene, which I'm going to get into the spoiler, so you might want to hit him with another spoiler alert just in case.
Yeah, okay, just in case, guys.
Just in case. The whole purpose of this was to bring Venom into the MCU, which has been confirmed because of the post-credit scene, where it shows Venom being transported to the MCU because we see Tom Holland's Spider-Man on TV, and he talks about that guy. So I feel like Venom has knowledge that the multiverse is a thing, and he's kind of trying to explain to Eddie that the multiverse is a thing. And yeah, it kind of just felt like a whole movie leading up to that reveal. So like,
yeah,
knowing the post-credit scene and having seen the post-credit scene, you don't really need to see the movie unless you're a really big Carnage fan and you want to be mildly disappointed.
Oh God.
I will say this much: it's better than the first film. The symbiote fights are much cleaner, much better. They're better choreographed. Carnage himself looks a lot better than Riot did.
Yeah, that I will acknowledge, because Carnage, when they first revealed Carnage, he looked amazing.
Yes,
So,
and he looks even more amazing in the film because like the glimpses they show in the trailer are nothing compared to his on-screen time. So, all in all, if you want to see the movie, go for it. I'm not going to say it's a horrible movie. It's not great. It's fun, but it's not great.
Yeah, that's the general consensus I've heard, was that it's enjoyable, but honestly, very much like not the previous episode of What If, which I'll get into in a little bit, but 2 weeks ago, the episode of What If, there was no point in watching it except for the last 10 seconds.
Yeah, basically.
So, okay. Yeah.
Like
Also, I'm going to go ahead and hit them with the nerd news and the spoiler alert yet again, because I realized. So, for those who don't know, Stream Deck had a new update that allows you to have pages now. So, even if you have just the Stream Deck Mini, you can have multiple pages from multiple buttons. So, I'm going to hit you with this nerd news real quick. Boom, right there. So we are having some technical difficulties with Jagger's camera, so he's going to go audio only for the remainder of the show. But moving on, what else we got in the nerd news?
Well, the lawsuit between Scarlett Johansson and Disney has finally come to a close, an undisclosed close. They have a undisclosed mutual agreement between the two parties. Disney stating that they're going to continue to work with Johansson in the future, and in her statement, she dropped that she'll be working on an upcoming Tower of Terror project. So Disney's continuing their trend of turning their rides into movies.
Mm-hmm. And she was originally attached to that as well, right?
Yes, I believe so. There haven't been a lot of details about it yet. They just said that she was going to be working on the next ride project.
Okay.
And then they confirmed that it was Tower of Terror.
Okay. Because last I read that she was not only going to be in the film, but I think they mentioned that she was also going to be either a producer or even potentially a director.
I don't know about directing. Producer sounds a little more likely.
Yeah, probably producer.
Probably.
But yeah, that's interesting. I really want to know the details of this, because like that was like big news for quite some time.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything else come up about it. It's just been they reached an agreement. They settled. They didn't say how much she got or if she got any money at all. So who knows? It may have been a shady deal. It may have been good for everybody, but it seems like everybody came out of the deal happy. So
yeah, I guess so. Moving forward from that, we got DC Fandom coming up, and DC Twitter has been buzzing all over for all the stuff being revealed. We got new movie trailers, sneak peek at Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League gameplay. It's a whole mixed bag, and so we also have Batman. Some more from Batman. I've heard. Husky, what about you? What are you looking forward to the most?
It's an interesting one because like last year, and I've had this conversation with Jagger a couple times now. Last year was a big one because of the Snyder Cut, right?
Yeah.
So it was a big one for that. This year was kind of been for some DC fans, it's been very hesitant because of how much they're just forcefully ignoring it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And making sure of that. So it's kind of been a little bit of a interesting one. Looking forward to seeing some of the Batman stuff. Obviously, from the first trailer that we got, that looks great. We're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be getting behind the scenes, I do believe, of Flash and Aquaman, like early look at Aquaman stuff. So I'm excited about both those because the new stealth suit for Aquaman, plus also I'm just interested to see how they're going to go about the new characters that they just announced. Um, Ben Affleck recently just came out and said that this is the most fun he's had doing Batman, and the last time that he had to do Batman left a sour taste in his mouth, which is referring to 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been two pieces of news, both of which I take highly with a grain of salt. One of them is a little bit more um, in stone, I guess is the best way of putting it. Which is that they're apparently going to end DC fandom with the reveal of the Ayer cut.
Oh.
That's the first big one, and then the second one is also that they're also going to announce that Henry is back as Superman. That one is the one that I'm taking with the biggest grain of salt because
Right.
it needs to happen. I have my own idea for how it should happen, but
Okay.
it needs I think that needs to happen. If they have everything right, they could have multiple universes set up across all of the platforms of CW, HBO Max movies, and have everyone thoroughly entertained and pleased at the same time.
Right.
So, but I mean, honestly, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the gameplay of Justice League versus Suicide Squad. I think that's going to be great. Um, I'm excited to see more Boomerang in that, and also
Mm-hmm.
Samoa Joe as King Shark. And then hopefully, I don't know if there is because I haven't seen a whole lot of it, but I'm hoping that they show some more Gotham Knights stuff too, because
Oh yes.
Gotham Knights looks really interesting to me.
I
And we
Is
forgot
got
that
about Gotham
is
Knights.
that
yeah,
is
exactly.
that supposed
That's
to
just
be in line with the Arkham series?
no.
No,
So
Oh,
it's
okay.
totally different.
that's the weird thing. So Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League is in the Arkhamverse.
Oh.
However, Gotham Knights is its own universe. So it's kind of interesting that they're doing two things kind of very similar but different universes.
Right. Because
So
you'd think Gotham Knights would be just
also
by
you
the subject
remember
alone.
well that's the thing, right? Is you watch the beginning, you watch the trailer for it, and the very beginning of it is Bruce basically sending out the alerts call, which is like I'm dead. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is
Yeah,
you guys are now have to take over, which lines up perfectly with the end of
Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
Arkham Knight. You know, like it makes sense to that would, and then they're like, yeah, no, this is something completely different. It's like, my brain
Wait.
hurts.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's so
but then
confusing.
as soon as they announced though that Suicide Squad, Kills the Justice League was a part of the Arkhamverse, immediately that kind of piqued my interest because
Mm-hmm.
we already had so much from just the Batman lore there that like
Mm-hmm.
if they're bringing that over, I can only imagine what they're going to be doing with it.
Yeah, that'd be wild. Jagger, what
Plus,
about you? What do you got? That's piquing your interest for DC fandom.
It's a lot of the rumors for me. Like
Okay.
I'm excited to see if the rumors about Henry Cavill being back as Superman are true. The Ayer cut thing, if that's true. Um, there's been rumors that HBO is ramping up to basically pick up the Snyderverse as its own made for streaming movie series,
Mm-hmm.
which would be revealed at DC Fandom, and I'm all for it.
hmm
I really want it to happen. I'm excited to see more about Matt Reeves' Batman
Mm-hmm.
because that's probably the next big DC project that I'm excited about until they announce the return of the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I mean, I don't know how much of the actual comic book stuff they're gonna unveil. They've kind of been doing little bits here and there throughout the year. If they announce another big like comic wide, like DC wide comic series, I'd be stoked about that because the last big one that they announced was Dark Knight's Metal, and that was widely successful.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm excited to see the whole thing. Really,
Yeah, I think I'm most excited for obviously Matt Reeves' Batman because it is an interesting take on it. I
Yeah.
like the kind of like noir, more focused on the detective side of things. I like that it's very heavily like with the Riddler, he's very heavily influenced by like the Zodiac killer. I think that's really cool. Zodiac was like one of my favorite movies for the longest time. So I'm excited to see how that kind of pans out. I'm also excited to find out more information about the Flash, because I feel like, I mean, if they're planning anything big for the DC EU and like the movie side of things, it would happen with the Flash. And I want to see if there's any any things that we can pick up from it where it's like, oh, this could change literally everything moving forward. So I'm interested to see what they decide to do with that. Let's see what else we got from the news.
The Comic-Con Character Hall of Fame is officially inducting Wonder Woman in a virtual ceremony as part of the DC Heroes 80th anniversary.
Cool.
Look at
So
that.
Wonder Woman is now in the Comic-Con Character Hall of Fame as of this year.
Look at
Pretty big
that.
news.
That's awesome. That is awesome.
That's kind of fucking badass.
Yeah.
Right?
I did not see, however, who all is actually in the Comic-Con Character Hall of Fame. Hold on one second while I look that up. Hall of Fame.
I
Character
didn't even
Hall
know.
of
I'm gonna be
Fame.
totally honest. I didn't realize there was a Hall of Fame of characters, and I'm actually
Yeah, there
surprised
is.
that.
I was gonna say,
Okay,
it seems like everything has a Hall of Fame these days.
Every year
Yeah.
they've been doing one. So 2020 was Pac-Man. 2019 was
What?
Batman. There's only two people in it right now. It's Batman and Pac-Man.
Okay,
So
I guess.
hold up a second. So you're telling me that as of right this second, in the Hall of Fame for Comic Con, 2 out of the 3 are from DC? Oh, weird.
I mean,
Anyway, Extreme Carnage Omega #1 wraps up the Carnage-centered comic event, which has featured the serial-killing symbiote corrupt its Life Foundation offsprings, Phage, Riot, Lasher, and Agony. However, the Omega preview demonstrates Riot meets an untimely end at the hands of Sleeper, a spawn of Venom.
no more Riot.
Yeah, Riot's
It's a big
gone,
deal.
dude.
A big
Riot
deal.
is fucking gone.
I feel like you just said a bunch, just randomly, looked up the, what is it when you do, the thesaurus for something and just said a bunch of words.
Low key. I was actually thinking that whenever I heard
that.
the names of all these symbiotes, it's like
That's what I'm saying. As you're listening, it's like I'm okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, that is pretty huge though. Riot gone just like that.
The whole Extreme Carnage comic line has been a wild ride because each one kind of focuses on one of the different offspring of Carnage, like Phage, Riot, Lasher, all of them. And this newest one, it was like Carnage goes like batshit. And then
even worse than Carnage USA.
Yes, even worse than Carnage
Oh
USA.
god.
Yeah, Extreme Carnage Omega is wild.
I'm
not afraid to go dark on this one. It's an 8-part series if anybody's interested. Most comic stores have all 8 parts right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be looking at that because moving forward, what we've been getting into the past week, I wanted to mention I finally decided to do the free trial for Marvel Unlimited on my phone, and so I've actually been reading some of the newer comic stories. Recently, I've been reading a little bit more of King in Black.
Snowflake in Safe Space.
What's up?
Huh?
What's that? I heard that. I heard you. Say it louder for the people in the back.
You mean Snowflake and Safe Space? Is that what you've been reading?
No, fuck that. No, I've been reading King in Black. I'm starting that one, and I'm also starting the portion of Amazing Spider-Man where they introduce a reiteration of Sin Eater, who, spoiler alert, is actually Harry Osborn. It's a wild fucking story. Oh my god. I don't want to say too much on it because I'm not even that far in myself, but holy crap, it's dark even for some Spider-Man shit. I'm like, holy, what? Dude's got centipedes everywhere. Just like fucking like ugh.
Yeah, Marvel's.
Does Sin Eater have like the same weakness that like Spider-Man has?
Oh, stop. So for the viewers out there, the other day, Husky sent me this like image of Spider-Man getting defeated by a fist up the butt. Oh my god.
Why did I get that in my inbox? I feel left out.
I honestly don't know why I didn't send it to you. Now that you say that, I'm gonna go find it and send it to you live.
This shit was it's actually something that legitimately happened in the old school comic books. I'm just like, god damn it.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. So while we're waiting on Husky to send you that, what'd you get into this past week?
Well, I took my weekly trip to my local comic book store.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up my next issue of Spawn.
Mm-hmm.
We're on issue 322 now.
Oh, sweet.
It's the longest running single comic in history right now. Still.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn.
Then I picked up the first issue of Marvel's Dark Ages, which is very promising. It's showing that Marvel's not afraid to get kind of creepy with their shit now.
Yeah, I was. I think I sent you the. Or I think I sent it in Discord. It was the link to the good boy at Variant Comics, talking about just the beginning of that series.
Yes,
dude, that's wild.
It's kind of crazy. The character, the way they're doing the characters in this is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. And then I have issue 5 of the Keanu Reeves comic book Berserker.
Oh, how's that?
Studios. Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I remember hearing about it a while back.
Then I got issue 2 of King Spawn, which has some really, really dope covers. I wish I could show, but I'll post them on Instagram at some point. Okay. And then my baby boy Deathstroke got his own series again, Deathstroke Incorporated.
Ooh,
what's
that about?
He now has I haven't read it yet. I picked it up, but I haven't had time to read it yet. I have a bunch of other stuff that I have to read. But from what I understand, it's basically like, it's sort of like the Teen Titans West storyline, where Deathstroke starts his own Teen Titans, but it's just a group of mercenaries started with like his kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's kind of illegal.
Well, I mean, yeah. Most
I used to operate in a questionable legality.
But yeah, Husky, what have you been reading? You been reading anything lately?
Actually, I just got most recently. I mean, I say most recently, it was like a month fucking ago. But I got in a bunch of books. I haven't bought Bob books in a while. I used to have a list of stuff that I was buying off Amazon, but then I stopped doing it. But I got Hawkman Volume 2 and 4, or 3 and 4, Batman Beyond, the Snyder Cut, and one that we're going to be talking about in a little bit, which is DC's Dead Planet. I haven't read most of those yet, but I got them in. I just haven't had any time to read them yet. But it's been a while since I've actually bought books, because like I just stopped buying stuff off Amazon.
Yeah.
Within the past, like probably actually most likely this year, I feel like I just stopped buying stuff. So a lot of the typical like every week I'm buying something new kind of stopped.
Okay, gotcha.
Also, it doesn't help that a lot of the runs that I liked, DC just kind of stopped.
Oh, that's a bummer. One more thing I wanted to touch on before we move forward on to the DC horror and Black Label stuff. This past week, the last episode of Marvel's What If, they finally gave us a pretty fucking good episode. I mean, not without its lazy writing on killing Thanos. That was... I've already played the spoiler alert for you guys. It's okay. Listen, everything leading up to this point was awesome, and then everything after this point was awesome. It's just this one moment, You couldn't have had at least like some sort of like, like defense on Thanos' side? No, he doesn't even have any lines. He just shows up, and then Vision's or I like to call him Ultron Prime or Ultron Perfected. Everyone's saying Vision Ultron or Ultron Infinity. Those names suck. I'm calling y'all out right now.
It's basically just Ultron Prime.
Yeah, it's Ultron Prime. And he's just like, interesting. Slices him in half. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. But yeah.
But was it balanced though? Because he had a gauntlet on one hand and a gauntlet not on the other.
Yeah, but both his nuts were on the other side, so it's all good. But no, I was just like, as soon as I saw that, it did have the shock factor of like, oh shit, he just fucking did that. And then, so you have that moment of like, oh fuck. But then just like maybe 5 seconds after, like, wait a minute, that didn't feel right. That just didn't sit right with me. But the rest of it was really cool. It was really cool to see how Ultron Prime was successful in basically silencing the entire galaxy as we know it. And then it's explained by the Watcher that in his loneliness, he ascended to a higher level of consciousness, and he was able to perceive the Watcher watching over him. And then he breaks through reality. And then you have like this fucking like almost Dragon Ball Z-esque fight between the Watcher and Ultron Prime. And it was actually really enjoyable to watch. And then it leaves off with the Watcher knowing that he will lose if he does not find help. And he goes to find help from Doctor Strange Supreme. Yeah. The Dark Doctor Strange. And it's
Evil Strange.
Yes,
best
Evil
character
Strange.
in the entire show.
What's up?
I said the best character in the entire show.
Yeah, that is true.
The correct Doctor Strange. Sacrifice the universe for the girl.
I don't know.
Sacrifice the universe for the girl.
I mean, no.
I stand by my statements.
I mean, no.
As the DC fan that doesn't have Disney Plus and just kind of watches the stuff on YouTube when it comes out, I'm always critical anyway. But like I've told both of you guys, there's been episodes that I thought were really cool, such as the Doctor Strange episode, such as the Wasp episode.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the Ultron zap him in half, I was like, no. No. There's one that I've seen that recently that it shows that, and then it shows a portal opening up behind him, behind like Ultron Prime, and it's him stepping out and it's like jabbing his fucking like gauntlet through his like torso and being like, I am inevitable. Like that sort of thing.
Yeah, that one's sick.
And I saw that, and I'm sitting there like, that seems more like what would happen.
See, I would have liked to see like that happen, but since Vision is basically like he's a robot. Obviously, he gets punched through the torso or whatever, and then he just uses his phasing ability and phases out from his arm. And then does the fucking beam or whatever. That would like just even some like little altercation between the two, because Thanos is supposed to be a very big bad. It didn't feel that. It carried Thanos's presence there carried no weight other than, oh, here's how he got the Infinity Stones.
I get that this is a what if series, but it isn't a what if the villains were pussies series.
Yeah,
that's all it feels like it is most of the time.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like they're taking the villain and then they're immediately just completely depowering them.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing they're doing is making like the good guys, like when they turn bad, really fucking bad.
Yeah,
which is I think that's really fucking cool. But
yeah,
that's just my take on it as the outsider.
Yeah, and I think going back on what we said in the previous episode too was it might have bode well with viewers and fans if they had actually pulled from the actual what if stories that they wrote in the comic books too. a lot of all the stuff that has happened are just completely original stories that they came up with. Especially the last 3 episodes prior to Ultron Prime. I think I explained to Husky at one point where it felt as though there was a Tumblr thread of like Gen Z Marvel fans that were just like going back and forth, coming up with random ideas to complete this story. Like they would write one line of like one scene that happens, and then another person would comment, and then they would have a scene that happens, and then finally, like that's what the previous 3, like was it the Killmonger episode, Party Thor, and even Marvel Zombies. Honestly, like that's what that all felt like to me.
Yeah.
But with this one, it does drum up some excitement for me, and I'm happy to see how it comes to fruition tomorrow. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow. But that being said, let's move on to the meat and potatoes. We got DC Black Label and DC Horror. It's spoopy time.
It is spooky time.
I've been working on that. How's that? Was that good?
It was okay. It needs a little work, but
Okay.
you're getting there.
Okay, I'm getting there. Anyway,
So
Jagger, you take it.
Yes, for those of you that don't know, DC has decided to separate a lot of its darker titles. DC is notoriously known for being darker than most other comic book publishers, but they now have a special place for their darker than dark. They have a horror line just labeled DC Horror. It only has one release so far, and it's a tie-in comic called The Conjuring the Lover. It ties in with the Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. It was a 5-part miniseries, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if they've actually finished it or not. I'm not entirely sure. I don't have all the volumes yet. It was well done. It was fun. It was interesting. They haven't done anything else on DC Horror, but they also have a pseudo horror called DC Black Label, and that's given us different titles such as Deceased, Batman Damned, The Sandman, Lucifer, Swamp Thing, etc. So, figured we would bring on our resident DC expert, Big Husky, and talk about some of these series and what we think about them.
I'm sorry. I looked over at Husky and it looked like he like just stepped out of the shower and he was just like, bask in my glory.
He did have that kind of face on. So first, let's go with the most recent one that's been going on. That's Deceased. Deceased is a 6-issue comic book miniseries. It was published from May to October 2019 originally, and now we're getting more spin-offs like A Good Day to Die, Unkillables, and then the sequel, Dead Planet. Husky, you mentioned you picked up DC's Dead Planet but haven't read it yet, correct?
Yep. Correct. I kind of know what happens, obviously, with being with Instagram. You see everything like right after it freaking comes out.
Yeah.
But I haven't actually like sat down and got my coffee and my donut and sat down and actually like read it. But
okay.
No, I mean Deceased is I want to say something, but at the same time I know it's going to trigger so many fucking people if I do, but I want to say it anyway.
Say it.
I think Deceased is better than Marvel Zombies.
It probably is.
I want to say that simply for the fact of Deceased didn't have a problem being like, we're killing everyone.
Yeah.
No one's safe. Like Darkseid is one of the first ones that gets like the anti-life equation zombie virus in him.
Mm-hmm.
Like they turned one of the biggest bads in the DC universe immediately. Like, yep, he's dead. He's now a zombie. Like
So the premise here for the original Deceased, it says the story takes place in an alternate Earth where a corrupted version of the anti-life equation has infected most of Earth's inhabitants with a zombie-like virus. Lois Lane acts as the series narrator, detailing how the events took place over the course of a few weeks. Mm-hmm. I know there were a few spin-offs for it. They did A Good Day to Die, which starred Mr. Miracle and Big Barda, talking about the destruction of Apocalypse. And then there was Unkillables, where it's centered around Deathstroke, and he encounters infected neo-Nazis.
It's the way they did the spin-offs were really good in my opinion, because like a good day to die was, like you said, it was with Barda and Mr. Miracle, and it was mainly like on Apocalypse,
Mm-hmm.
like that side of it. Unkillables was like spoilers. Um, Ship, they eventually they are able to get in a ship, get the people that aren't infected off, and get them out into space, sort of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Killables is like Deathstroke, Red Hood, Ivy, Harley Quinn, a bunch of the characters that didn't make it to the ship and are still on Earth. So like their whole thing is like to make sure that the ship gets off, sort of thing. And it's kind of cool because it's like each chapter, each spin-off was its own unique little kind of freaking, what's the word that I'm looking for here? Almost like biodome, right? Like it was contained within itself. Like this is what it is, and then not trying to go outside of it. It's like boom, this is what it is. Like they have like Deathstroke and like Red Hood like teaching like little kids how to like kill people, because like they need to learn that in this new apocalypse world, like that sort of thing. It's like it was so cool the way they did it, and like some of the like there was, if you read, when you're reading it, there's some parts of it that actually get you choked up a little bit. The entire Batman line that's in it gets you choked up, and then once you read Unkillables, you get choked up immediately as soon as you understand what. As soon as you see one panel, you immediately are like, oh fuck, like it completely hits you in a weird way, and it's a good weird way. It's just it. They take the best aspects of the characters and what makes them likable and uses that against you. So like, for instance, like spoiler yet again.
Okay. Oh,
Uh,
there you go. Yeah, I
so
fixed it.
so Batman turns, and he's talking with Damian, and Nightwing is dead. Tim's dead. They both they bit Batman and turned Batman. Batman's in a suit, kind of keeping him a little bit, slowing it down, the virus down a little bit. And he turns, and Alfred has to put him down.
Oh fuck.
And then you get the scene of Alfred giving a bat suit to Damian, because Damian's the only from what they know, Damian's the only Bat family member alive. So Damian now becomes Batman, and you get a scene later on of like they're all just lined up in the Batcave. Like Alfred just lined them up and put like their like capes over them, and in Unkillables, Jason's doing everything he can to get back to the Batcave, and he sees that, and eventually he like buries them. So like,
and then he takes Ace with him in the Batmobile and just
yeah. And it's
goes.
just it's such a like those two, like the bat, because of course everyone always talks about, you know, how Batman's overhyped and everything, but that, reading that for the first time and seeing that hits,
Yeah,
because it's one of those things where it's like, you know, like fucking Alfred had to put him down.
Yeah.
it's kind of nice that DC kind of took some of the side characters that you don't see very often, some characters that have recently got popularity, and put them in the limelight. Like I know Dead Planet ends up centering a lot around John Constantine, which I love, and you get a little bit more of like Chaz, Wally West, Cassandra Cain, Maxwell Lord, Professor Ivo.
Yeah,
We get a lot of those characters in the sequel. So
they really did do a great job, like you said, with introducing these, or not even these side characters, but like just having the side characters be, not even the side characters, but these characters that everyone knows of but rarely ever see, and kind of pushing them to the front a little bit. Like for instance, in Unkillables, you get Deadshot, Bane, Lady Shiva, Cheetah, Captain Cold, Solomon Grundy, and Creeper.
yeah,
Those
all
are,
protecting Vandal Savage.
yeah, they're all protecting Vandal Savage, and they're all like, and then eventually like they're protecting a bunch of just humans.
Yeah,
And making sure they don't get infected, sort of thing. Like it's such a unique, it was such a unique take, I thought, on the entire thing. And like I said, I thought they did a very good job with it, and it felt unique as well, because like, yeah, the zombie thing has been done before, But for some reason, I don't know why, but this version felt different. It didn't feel like a traditional zombie sort of thing. And it could have been just because it was like you had like Wonder Woman getting infected and then flying around and like murdering people, like as Wonder Woman still, just that was zombified. Like I don't know, but like I thought that as I've read through it, like I said, I've read Good Day to Die, Unkillables, the main one. I think I've read Hope at World's End. I think I have, and then like I said, I just got Dead Planet and haven't read it yet. But like it was one of those ones where I immediately bought as soon as I saw them come out.
Hope at World's End is the newest one. It came out June of this year.
Okay.
Now, is it similar to Marvel Zombies, where once infected, they still kind of retain some of their brain function? So they retain like any memories or?
So kind of, but not really, because like Wonder Woman is still like just straight up murdering like friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't matter. Like so I think it's one of those things where like because the anti-life equation is the whole thing behind the anti-life equation is to make you succumb to the will of the anti-life equation. So you basically bow down and you are that. Mm-hmm. Where I think with this because I'm reading here restraint technology fix that causing him to go on that. Okay. It just I mean from the way that I read it, like they basically become zombies. They still have their powers, but like they're completely driven just by like I kill now.
Okay.
Like that sort of thing. Okay. I mean, I could be wrong about that, Jack. I mean, you can.
I kind of like that better than Marvel Zombies in a sense, because like Marvel Zombies, it was known as the Hunger, and they were just their bodies were deteriorating at a rapid pace. They were incredibly basically hungry for human flesh, but they still retained all their memories, their thought process, their powers, all that. It was kind of odd, to be totally honest. Especially there's like a scene or there's a panel where while you're reading it, like the Hulk has transformed back into Bruce Banner, but he's not digesting any of the food, any of the bodies that he's been eating. So you have Bruce Banner walking around with like a bulging fucking stomach, like 10 times bigger than himself, and you can actually like make out like the outline of like arms and legs and stuff like that. It's disgusting. But the fact that like he's like sitting there like he's a scientist from like a scientific standpoint, he's like, yeah, this makes no sense. I don't know why this isn't happening, or my stomach hasn't burst yet. I'm almost like, the fuck is this? And it's really wild. And then Spider-Man just crying every time he eats someone.
Yeah, I think the major difference between Marvel Zombies and Deceased is Marvel Zombies feels like just another Marvel story, whereas Deceased feels like it's an actual zombie story.
Yeah.
But it happens to take place in the DC universe.
Yep.
So it actually brings in more of the horror elements that I like, which is kind of why I agree with Husky in his statement that Deceased is better than Marvel Zombies.
So one of the things here, just really quickly reading through again to kind of refresh myself. On Earth, a now infected Wonder Woman is interrogated by Cyborg with the lasso of truth to find out if there's a cure. The equation responds through Wonder Woman that the cure lies within Cyborg, revealing that the virus is sentient and controls its victims as a hive mind.
Ooh.
So that's yeah, so it's not just like a typical like zombie thing. Like this is it's a virus that's sentient and a hive mind.
Oh, that's cool. That's
and
really
like
cool. Because from what I read, it did say like, so basically, the idea was that Darkseid wanted to merge the half of the anti-life equation that is within Cyborg with him.
Yep.
And in doing so, it corrupted it, and that's what caused this like techno-organic virus.
Yeah.
That is, so what you say is sentient. That's actually really cool. That's really cool.
Also, I will say one of the other really cool things is Black Canary becomes a lantern.
Yes. No way. That's sick.
Yep, Dinah becomes a lantern. That is the fucking coolest thing ever.
It is very cool. All right. Well, moving on to our next series that I have on here. Let's go with Batman Damned,
Wienergate.
aka Wienergate. This is the series. It sees Batman go into more of a supernatural horror setting. It's
With his penis?
with his
Yes.
penis. With his penis. The series begins shortly after
I will
the
break
events
your
of Joker, and he seemingly dies during a fight with Batman, who has blacked out and doesn't remember anything. So he contacts John Constantine, and they dive into the supernatural underworld, and Batman and Constantine kind of tango with the more supernatural characters like Spectre, Etrigan, Deadman, Satana, Swamp Thing, and the Enchantress. But the biggest takeaway from this graphic novel was the nudity that they threw in. We got a full shot of Batman's penis.
Batwiener.
Scary.
Batwiener.
Spoopy.
Yeah. The true horror.
No wonder we're talking about this during October. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
bat penis.
Bat penis. I think
Imagine he actually did the bat wing from Waiting.
Oh no, not that one.
It's so veiny.
Oh, God, no. One thing I do like, I think this is probably one of my favorite Black Label stories, aside from one that we're going to talk about later, but that's just me being a fanboy. I've always preferred like the supernatural characters. Like Zatanna will always be one of my favorite DC characters of all time. So like I've always gravitated towards like
why.
just it's not because of that, okay? I also like Zatara, her father, and like Dr. Fate and all them. Etrigan is so dope.
Gone the former man.
We kind of get some nice tie-ins with the Dark Knight, and I don't know, just the art style. It felt great. It was
the thing that I was about to mention was that obviously other than Wienergate, I loved the art style.
Oh, let's be honest. You loved the bat PP.
I mean, that was awesome too, because it was like I just love the fact that it's the biggest bullshit controversy of all time in my opinion, because it's one of those things like we want more adult content. Okay, here's Batman's dick. Ew, no, less content.
Yeah, basically what happened.
But no, the art style to me was unique, and it gave it because to me that's one of the things that like I can respect a writer being able to explain the color of a mug and why it's that color in 10 pages. I can respect that. I would rather just see a picture of it personally. And the artwork in this book I think DC's artwork is incredible anyway, but I think this kicked it up a complete different level. Like it added such a spoopy kind of effect to it. It added a little bit more darkness to it. Everything looked a little bit grittier. It just I don't know.
There's a lot of detail too.
It's wild when you start really looking at it. It's wild.
Well,
like even just the creases in like his cowl, like.
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, look at the illustrator. Lee Bermejo did other like really detailed art in other graphic novels. Like he did Batman Noel, Rorschach, the self-titled book Joker, Lex Luthor, Man of Steel. Like
these are great fucking titles.
Yes, he's won the Eisner Award multiple times. He's an incredible illustrator, and him working with Brian Azzarello again, like he did on Joker, which this is the sequel to that book, if I'm not mistaken. I think Joker takes place, and then a couple months later is when Damned takes place. But the major reason I wanted to bring this series up is this is the actual first series that was officially printed under DC's Black Label. This was originally meant for them to take unique DC characters and tool them for mature audiences. This was more of this isn't for kids collecting comics. This is for the adults that have been collecting comics since Detective Comics. and they want to see Batman get dark and dirty. So I think leading off with something like this was widely successful because it spawned so many other ones, like the next series we're going to talk about, Batman Three Jokers.
Ah, yes, Three Jokers.
I
Three
remember.
Jokers.
Oh my god, the lead up to this was the like.
I
Yeah,
remember
it's
hearing about
It
this.
was
And I was like,
perfect.
"Oh, this is interesting."
It was so perfectly done.
yeah, it's the spiritual successor to Batman the Killing Joke and The Death in the Family. This was written by Jeff Johns, who is probably one of my favorite writers. He did the main run of Teen Titans that I started collecting. It was decided to be published under Black Label. They wanted to make this storyline a little bit more mature than what Killing Joke and Death in the Family did, which I don't know how much.
Yeah, like
darker
what?
you
Like,
get in that.
how do you get more mature than Killing Joke? Like, what the fuck?
It was received well overall. The characters, the action, and then there was this big conclusion between Batman and Joe Chill. But I know a lot of people criticized the ending.
Yes, please do tell, because I only know like little bits and pieces. Like, there are two main things that I wanted to ask you guys when I saw that this was on the list of things that we were going to talk about today.
Yeah.
So one, why in the fuck are there three Jokers, and what is Joe Chill up to?
So to answer that is more so like the prelude. So
Okay.
here's your prelude up to this series. During
Okay.
Darkseid War, Batman sits in the Mobius chair, which is a time-space dimensional vehicle.
Yeah.
He's it's operated by one of the new gods, Metron.
Right. This is where he asks the chair, like,
yes, he asks the chair who kills his parents in order to test the chair, and it says Joe Chill. Then he asks the Mobius chair what the Joker's real name is, and it's revealed later that the Mobius chair told him that there were three Jokers.
The chair responded with 3.
Yes. So there were 3 different versions of the Joker, and this is what kind of dives into that. So there's 3 different versions of the Joker. There's the criminal, the clown, and the comedian. And they it's worth the read. Like pick up the hardback version of it because it has all the mini issues in it.
Right.
It's worthwhile because it goes into each one very heavily. The ending, however, the reason it received a lot of criticism is because it's unclear whether this is canon or not. Because the mention of the 3 Jokers is canon because it was in Darkseid War, it was in the main Justice League storyline. Jeff Johns stated that the story falls in continuity. He also says that the 3 Jokers are not from different realities. The artist of the series, Jason Fabok, says that the canonicity of the series was up to fan interpretation. He prefers if the story was non-canon, but he seems to appeal that the story is canon. DC has not taken a clear stance. 3 Jokers was foreshadowed within Prime Earth canon as early as Justice League number 50 during the Darkseid War storyline. Green Lantern or Batman would later tell Green Lantern in DCU Rebirth 1 that its answer was that there were 3. Both issues were written by series creator Jeff Johns. So this is sort of like a continuity story that Jeff Johns was writing in the middle of his own thing.
Okay.
It's interesting. It's weird because it presents itself as canon, but like in DC Rebirth, Alfred is killed by Bane in the City of Bane storyline, but in 3 Jokers, Alfred's alive. Also, Commissioner Gordon knows Batgirl's secret identity, and Jason Todd reveals he had feelings for Batgirl in contrast to the main DC continuity where Jason Todd only develops feelings for Artemis. So there were things that happened in 3 Jokers that present itself as canon, but also take itself out of canon. So that's why a lot of people didn't really like it overall. Overall, it did receive positive reviews from critics. A lot of people praised the art, the pacing, the characters. They didn't like the fact that the identities of the three Jokers were revealed. They felt it a little underwhelming. But critics did praise that the revelation of the Joker's true name was a good thing for DC Comics and for Batman.
You want
I
to get? You want to
disagree.
give the true name? I'll hit the spoiler alert one more time if you want.
I don't, because I can't find it and I don't remember it.
Motherfucker. Okay.
I'm looking for it, but I can't find it.
Watch his name actually be Motherfucker, then I'd be like, oh fuck. Okay.
We do find out that there's a true Joker, like the real Joker is the comedian.
Joker Prime. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just add. It's like the whole like the quantum bullshit with Ant-Man. Just like stick Prime at the end of any name, and then there you go. You're solid.
So here I found this. I'll say this much. In the aftermath of the events of this miniseries, Bruce visits Joe Chill just before he dies, giving him comfort and forgiveness. He then travels to Alaska and comes back to Gotham. Bruce reveals to Alfred that he knew the Joker's true name all along, discovering it 1 week after their first encounter. But this name is not important because revealing it would lead him to the Joker's secret family. It is also revealed that the Joker's pregnant wife, Jeannie, was not actually killed, but taken to a secret place in Alaska and had a son as part of a witness protection arrangement. Bruce explains that the Joker's true name must never be known because if the world found out that the Joker had a secret family, it would be national news and they would be targets, either by the Joker himself or by someone seeking some sort of vengeance against the criminal. So they don't actually reveal his name. Just Batman's always known. And a lot of people dislike that.
What? There's so much information in everything you just said. So hold on, the Joker has a family. So is this whole Joker persona like a side gig of his?
No, this is one of those deals where it's like he had a family, but then went insane and became the Joker.
Okay.
So Bruce, after their first encounter, basically helped keep this family safe because Joker has a wife and son that he hid away in Alaska so that Joker would never find them and kill them.
Okay. The way that was worded and read, I was just like, wait a minute, hold on.
It's very weird. It's such a wild storyline, but it's well done. It doesn't quite encompass what DC Black Label is. Like this one could have very easily been in regular DC Comics.
In my opinion, it should have been an Elseworld.
Yes, I'll give you that one. And for those of you that don't know, Elseworlds is just separate Earths where different things happen, but they don't affect the main canon.
I mean, which would have been difficult with them making the main canon of 3, but they could have easily found some bullshit around that. I like you said, I thought it was a really cool story. I thought it was a really cool concept as well. Like I remember when I first saw it and it said, that there were 3.
Yeah.
Not a name, it's just 3. It was like, what the fuck does that mean? But then like when you start thinking about it, it's like, oh shit, like that kind of, if you think about it, especially with a character like the Joker where the iteration has changed so much over the years, it made sense. And then you start thinking about it and it's like, of course, you think about modern day and you think about the way that the Joker has changed just from Nicholson to Ledger to Joaquin Phoenix to Jared Leto, just like each one is just drastically different, but they all technically, like, yes, they all encompass actual versions of the Joker that are in the comics.
Yeah.
So I thought that was
even
really
Cameron
cool.
Monaghan from Gotham.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, it's like that's why when I first heard this, I was like, that's really cool. But then as Jagger said, and as the continuity stuff, and I thought that was it. They tried doing this giant thing that was going to be like kind of the greatest, like mini series or like spin-off or however the fuck you want to word it. It felt like they were trying to do the greatest one ever and just try to throw all of this shit in there. Like, let's take all the best things that we can and just, and like, it was good. I enjoyed it. But, I mean, to me, the prelude of it and the excitement there was more than the actual of reading it.
Maybe a little bit overly ambitious in a sense.
I mean, it was one of those things like what Jagger said, like, like Red Hood is, like, oh, I've had feelings for you. No, you haven't. You've only liked Artemis.
Yep.
I know that you're a Batgirl. No, you don't. Like there's so many of these little things that were just like, it was, it's Batman saying, like my parents died, and then it's like, but my mother's over there. I need to go home now.
Mom's calling me for dinner.
Yeah, exactly. It was just
Yeah.
like, it's like I gotta go. It's just like I said, it felt like Jeff Johns, which I think he does good comics. Keep him away from fucking everything else, though. Um, I think
I think he used to stick to more of like the small team stuff. Like when he did Teen Titans, it was great.
exactly when he did
His
Teen
run
Titans,
on he
when
did
he
Red
did
Lanterns.
when he did Aquaman as well, like it was just like
Yeah.
you give him you give him a title of Batman, and he's going to try and do something that hasn't been done before.
Yep.
Meanwhile, there's a reason why this idea hadn't been done before, because it's so gargantuan of a task to try and make sure every little thing fits, and they didn't do that, as you can tell from his response of when asked if it was canon, and him saying the story was in continuity.
Yeah.
Like that, like there's no, like he just basically says, yeah, what I did was yeah, that's it, that's all. So I mean, yet again, like Jagger said, I didn't need to be on Black Label.
Yeah, I don't think it needed to be in Black Label. But however, the next one, which I'm kind of encompassing two in one because they coincide with each other, wasn't technically on Black Label until last year. The Sandman series, which we're getting an official Netflix adaptation within the next year. Sandman is written by Neil Gaiman, one of my favorite authors of all time. It was the primary focus of DC's Vertigo imprint. Vertigo retired its name in 2020, and then they started printing under Black Label. For a little synopsis for those of you that don't know what Sandman is about, the main character of the Sandman is Dream, also known as Morpheus. He's got a lot of names, but he mostly goes by Dream. He is one of the 7 Endless. The other Endless are Destiny, Death, Desire, Despair, Delirium, formerly known as Delight, and Destruction, also known as the Prodigal. It's a lot of stuff happens in the Sandman. It's too much to actually explain on the show. We would need an entire like 2 or 3 part series. This series has been going on since 1989.
It's one of those ones where Sandman. I mean, a lot of I mean, really, if you encompass it, a lot of the Vertigo titles, Sandman, Lucifer, Swamp Thing, Constantine, like a
Well,
lot of these have such a um storied past, right? Like, yeah, like you said, it would take an entire episode just on each individual one,
right.
because they've been going on for however many. I mean, when Constantine's been out since the like, if I remember correctly, the 80s as Hellblazer,
Yes. It was
right?
originally known as Hellblazer on the Vertigo imprint.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with
Alan Moore's Swamp Thing. That was it.
yes,
I was trying to remember the
that was the
name,
other
Alan
one.
Moore.
And speaking of Lucifer, Lucifer was actually introduced in Neil Gaiman's The Sandman. At least the Lucifer as we know him.
Mm-hmm.
He actually spun off after he was done being needed in the Sandman story. Let me see here. So it's an ongoing spin-off series. It's depicting Lucifer Morningstar's adventures on Earth, heaven, and other various realms of his family's creation, and in uncreated voids after abandoning Hell. So in the Sandman universe, he abandons Hell and goes to Earth. Lucifer also appears as a supporting character in issues of The Demon, The Spectre, and other DC comics. 2 angels, a human, and briefly Superman have taken his place as ruler of Hell, which is interesting.
Love the idea of Superman being the ruler of Hell.
Yeah.
It's kind of
current
awesome.
current live adaptations we've had of Lucifer. He made his live action debut in 2005 with the film Constantine, starring Keanu Reeves. He was played by Peter Stormare. He was featured in an alternate version in the television series Lucifer, played by Tom Ellis, who also made a cameo in the Arrowverse with Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah,
and then the next controversy that people are going to be in an uproar about is Gwendolyn Christie is set to portray a more comic accurate version in the upcoming Sandman adaptation.
I know those people that have the controversy can shut the fuck up.
Yes. I'm happy to see that Lucifer is finally getting his comic accurate depiction from the Sandman.
I will say though, and this isn't anything against it's Gwendolyn Christie, right?
Yes.
It's gonna be tough for me to see her as Lucifer because I think Tom Ellis did such an incredible job with it.
He did.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with I can't remember who's playing Constantine in the Sandman universe, but it's the same thing there. And Matt Ryan is Constantine to me.
Yeah.
And I've stated it before. There's no chance of it ever happening. But if they ever do a DCEU Constantine, it should be Matt Ryan. Like
I agree.
I will die on that hill, 100%. He embodies that character so well.
So we're actually.
So I just looked it up.
We're not getting John Constantine.
Sandman. Yeah.
That's right. We're getting
Johanna Constantine, played by Jenna Coleman.
Where do I recognize her? Where do I recognize her from?
She was on Doctor Who. She was also in Captain America: The First Avenger.
That's it. She is an occult detective and ancestor of John Constantine. She's going to play two versions of the character, one in the 18th century and another in the present day. See,
that's interesting.
So I was wrong about that one. I thought they were actually doing Constantine in it. So I mean, that's I mean, she from the little that I know of her, good actress. So
John Constantine didn't have a huge role in the Sandman at first, anyway.
True. It was more. Wasn't it more Morpheus showing up every now and then in Hellblazer?
Yes, Morpheus would show up in Hellblazer. Lucifer traveled over as well. You also got a little bit of the Corinthian and Death showing up in Hellblazer. So those are nice crossovers. I am excited to see what they're going to do with the Sandman show. The one trailer we've had looks amazing.
I saw something with Neil Gaiman on the set. It was the first time of him on the set and him walking around and him like basically saying like he's trying his best not to cry because like it was one of those things where he's looking at it and he's like, this looks exactly like what I wrote and what we did.
Well, this
like that sort of thing. And that was the thing is right. It's just like seeing him do that and say that. It's one of those things. It's like I really hope this fucking does well because he deserves this. Like this deserves to be shown this way, And like you said, it looks incredible.
I mean, he's had a lot of successful stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff that's out and successful and widely popular that people don't know is actually Neil Gaiman. His most popular here lately has been American Gods.
I still need to catch up on that.
You do.
Oh man.
Other notable ones. Stardust is Neil Gaiman.
Wait, Stardust as in like with like Robert De Niro, the gay pirate, and Charlie Cox pre-Daredevil?
Yep, that's Neil Gaiman.
Okay.
Coraline is a Neil Gaiman story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And Inkheart is another one.
That one sounds familiar, but I can't picture it.
Inkheart was basically Stardust, but with Page Ink and not stars. It was the same deal. Yeah. But I've always loved Neil Gaiman's writing, whether it be books or comics or otherwise. I need to catch up on reading the Sandman story because it's still going.
So
and you know me, I'm a sucker for long-running stuff.
Here's one too as well.
Wait, Inkheart with Brendan Fraser, right? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Inkheart.
Yes, Brendan Fraser.
In Lucifer, Neil Gaiman did the voice of God before they actually cast the character of God.
Really?
Apparently, that's what it says here. It says that he did the voice of God in episode Once Upon a Time.
Interesting.
Huh.
That's kind of cool.
I remember Jackie used to watch that a lot.
I mean, you look at his freaking resume, and it's unfucking real.
Yeah, you kind of can't touch the man. So the last one I wanted to get into, I'm kind of going to let Husky take the reins on this one because he's more of the expert on this next one than I am, and that is Swamp Thing.
Oh, Swampy.
Ooh.
Save Swamp Thing. I actually, this is, I think Xander may have seen it back in the day, but Jagger, this was well before I knew. I actually had a hashtag Save Swamp Thing, like just text on my screen
Oh,
every
wow.
stream. Yeah.
Hmm.
So Swamp Thing's, I'm mainly going off of the TV series that was out on DC Universe when it came out. As a lot of you, well, you guys don't know, I'm not a big fan of Spoopy. I don't like scared. I don't like being scared. I don't like scary.
Same.
Swamp Thing, the TV show, was terrifying. It was a superhero horror television show that like fully dove into the supernatural and horror elements of the character of um, the lore of of the lore of it, and it actually made me go out and buy more Swamp Thing books so I could actually learn more about the character and about the universe. The premise is Abby Arcane returns home to Louisiana to investigate a deadly swamp-borne virus, where she develops a bond with a disgraced scientist, Alec Holland. After Alec Holland tragically dies, Abby discovers the mysteries of the swamp and that Holland may not be dead after all when a mysterious creature claims to be him. It was very well done. It was the same quality that you see Titans and that you see Doom Patrol at. The cast was very well done. I felt there was a lot of characters like Crystal Reed and Andy Bean, people I hadn't ever heard of before personally. And then also then they come out and they have Will Patton and Kevin Durand, who are characters that everyone knows as soon as you see an image of them. You may not know them by name, but as soon as you see an image of them, you know exactly who they are. And it was a breath of fresh air because this is when DC Universe was trying to come out. I think this was before Disney Plus even.
Yeah, I
And
think this was like one of the the
this was,
flagship titles that they
and
had.
that
Like
was
it
the
was
thing.
like this and Titans.
Yep, it was this Titans, and then Doom Patrol came after Titans. And it was the whole thing where like it was DC Universe is a website where you can stream DC shows, TV shows, animated movies. You can read the books on there. It still exists. It's more of a book thing now. It's more just comics on there. But like this was one of the main ones, and I got really excited about it. But then they had to cancel it due to if I remember correctly, it was due to creative differences with DC Universe's parent partner, Warner Media. Shocking. Yep. So it originally was 13 episodes, went down to 10, and then further reports stated that the series was canceled due to budget shortfalls after the expected level of tax rebates offered by the state of North Carolina, where they shot most of the stuff. Derek Myers.
Yeah, I feel like that's more of Warner Brothers didn't like how we were going about it, so they
Which
kind
is
of cut funding.
Which is funny because overall, the series on Rotten Tomatoes, the series holds a 92% approval rating, with an average of 7.3 out of 10. And like by leaning into the horror of it all, Swamp Thing swims deep into the trenches of the strange world and returns with a scary good TV show. Metacritic. Like it was like, and it's one of those things. Like I said at the beginning of this, I'm not a big fan of spoopy. I'm not a big fan of scary. But I'll tell you what, though, this show made me like the character of Swamp Thing to the point where I actually went out and was like buying the books and learning about the character, learning about the universe. And it's like to this day, I still say I would rather take it over Titans. Not Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol's too good. Um, but I highly think that HBO Max needs to take a look. And I know that there's already the rumors of Justice League Dark and doing a bunch of these different characters, but you already have the universe built with Swamp Thing. Like it's the groundwork is already there, right? Just we're bringing it back. We go in season 2. We're finishing what was supposed to have happened in the first season. We're bringing that into season 2, doing a full season 2, which then will lead into, whatever the hell.
Imagine this. Imagine this. They announced Justice League Dark coming to HBO, right? HBO Max. They're running that. And then right after they announced season 2.
I would lose my shit because like you have Swamp Thing, you have Abby Arcane, you have Madame Xanadu, you have the Floronic Man, you have Phantom Stranger, you have Blue Devil. Like you have all of these characters. You have the Rot. Just there, like it's already there. Like it's fully already there. Now what you can do is expand because Phantom Stranger comes in and he like I'm not going to spoil a lot of it because I actually want people to go watch the show so they can see how good it is. But Phantom Stranger comes in and basically is like, yeah, I know about you and everyone else. Like you're not the only one, sort of thing. Like he does a lot of very cryptic, it says a lot of very cryptic things, and I'm just saying, go watch it. No idea where
Now,
you can
for
watch
those who do want to watch it, where is the best place to watch it?
That's what I was about to say. Give me a second here for real quick. I don't think it's on HBO Max.
Thought it was.
I'm thinking it might be like CW's like streaming.
That's what I was wondering is if it was on the CW.
I'll check HBO Max. I think it's on there. I thought they put it on there.
I thought it was too, but I'm not 100% sure. No, it's unfortunate. Please don't tell me it's on the CW. Oh, if it's on the CW.
Prime Video. Swamp Thing season 1 is available on Prime Video.
There we go. Everyone rush to Prime Video right now. Stop watching this video.
Hey. Hey now.
Stop watching this and then come back after you watch the first
Wait, something
season.
also comes up on...
It's also on CW.
It's also coming up on HBO Max for some reason. It says right here, HBOMax.com. Watch Swamp Thing, stream to... Swamp Thing follows Abby Arcane as she investigates what seems to be a deadly swamp-borne virus.
Did I just miss it then? Here we go.
I just googled where to watch Swamp Thing.
It's not on HBO Max. I'm looking at their A to Z of DC.
Yeah, no, yeah. If you type in Swamp Thing,
did I just stumble upon something? Maybe it's coming to HBO Max and they already have the website set up.
Maybe.
I mean, they have everything else. Long Halloween Part 1 and Part 2 is already on there.
Yeah, I know. I need to watch those.
Yeah, because I'm gonna take a picture of this and send it to you guys via Instagram.
Yeah, no, because you type in Swamp Thing on HBO Max, and all that comes up is Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, and Batman and Harley Quinn. But it is on CW too. CW is a free website. All you got to do is search results, type in Swamp, and it will show up. And then you can literally just watch episode by episode. It looks like you can watch episode by episode, 43, 43, 40, 40. Yep. So it looks like you can watch every episode. Like I said, it's an incredible series. Swamp Thing is an incredible character that has a very, very long history. With it being, when the hell did it first come out? It was Alan Moore, the first appearance of it was 1971.
Mm-hmm.
In House of Secrets, issue 92. I said episode. Issue 92. So, I mean, like, this is a character that has a very long, regarded history. And, like, it's, in my opinion, I think it's one of the better characters in the Justice League Dark universe. I think Swamp Thing is, because it has its very own, it has its lore with the Rot, the Green, like that sort of stuff. I forgot what the other ones are called now because it's been a while since I've actually read the books.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to get over my fear of body horror.
100%.
With that one. Like I've seen the trailer. I've seen some images on Google, and I'm just like, eee.
Yeah, the good thing is that like they hit it and then they quit it. You don't see it for a lot the body horror stuff.
Okay.
So, I mean, the main one that I can think of is the guy that gets the first like infected, and he's all. Bleh.
Is that the one? I think that's the image that I see mostly. Yeah, like
it's
the vines coming out of him and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the first episode, and that's it.
Okay.
Outside of that, like, yeah, you're okay. You're okay.
I'll keep a bucket next to me just in case.
Yeah, you probably should. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, Swamp Thing is one of those ones that I've really enjoyed the show, and the show made me a fan of the character and made me buy the books. Like, so that's how good the show was to me. You know, I've done it a few different times with a few other characters, but not to the like. I bought the entire run of Swamp Thing after like the first like 2 episodes. Like I went on Amazon and was just like, oh, 1 through 7, I think it was, or something like that. Like, boom, done, bought, mine now. You know, every other one, I'm like, yeah, you know, it's like, oh, okay, you know, what was it, Mr. Terrific? Mr. Terrific comes on, you know, the Arrowverse. I'm like, all right, well, let's see. All right, there's one book. I guess I'll buy the book after you know, before he comes out, like that sort of thing. This, I was just like, nope, buying the whole thing. Started buying the Alan Moore run too, and then I just kind of stopped buying comics at that point because.
That's good to hear. Yeah, I'm definitely probably gonna try and look that up. But Jagger, you got any other tidbits you want to talk about as far as DC Black Label or DC Horror?
No. If you like the dark side of DC Comics, then we've basically picked up on the big ones to read. Deceased, Damned, Sandman, Swamp Thing.
Well, there you have it. You have the Cursed Tapes takeover of Comic Relief there. It is spoopy season. It's spoopy season, and our boy Jagger is taking over everything. Everything's spoopy.
It's all mine.
It's all his. Thank you for joining us today, guys. There you go. We got to do that. We'll just do nothing but Ice Nine kills.
I mean, you can. They did just come out with the Silver Scream.
That is true. That's true. But thank you for joining us today, guys. Join us next week live here on Twitch or the next day following on YouTube as we get down and spoopy with it. Jagger, what we got planned for the rest of the week?
Well, more Cursed Tapes takeover stuff is happening this week. Tomorrow on Otaku's Anonymous, they are talking about Death Note versus the live action, aka what I'm calling the Netflix problem. And all the horrors that are involved in that. And then on Thursday, I will be joined with my buddy Rich. We're going to be talking about our top 10 horror films of all time.
Velocipaster #1.
And possibly talking about movies that we will never watch, because I have
Velocipaster.
I've seen Velocipaster.
Or what about Tommy Wiseau's The Room?
Yep.
That's scary.
I did not do it. I did not hit the. Oh, hi, Mark.
And I've also seen The Disaster Artist, the making of the worst movie ever.
How was that? Actually, now that you bring it up, I just want to know, like, how was that?
Oh, it was good. It was well done.
Okay.
It was interesting to see.
All
that's what we got going on this week. And then also we have Friday night. We're going to be watching the 1974 version of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're going to be doing it a little differently than we normally do. We'll be showing the movie in Discord, but we'll be having a reaction panel live on Twitch.
Nice.
You can catch us both.
Nice. I love that.
Yes.
I might. Yes. Let's see. What is Friday? I might pop in for a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah.
I like me and Husky said earlier. We don't do spoopy. We're not spoopy people.
This one's not really spoopy. The nice thing about this one.
The last one,
it's definitely not as bad as the last one. I regret putting that one on the list for sure.
I just remember me and Coop and Chad being like, "What the fuck is going on?" Jagger's like half asleep, also thinking like, "What the fuck is going on right now?"
Oh no.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
All right, guys.
It'd be a joy to watch you watch it. Let's just put it like that.
Oh boy. Well, if there are any topics you'd like to see us cover on this channel, please leave a suggestion in the comments down below. If you're watching on YouTube, and if you're watching us live, just let us know while we're live, and help support us and by liking, sharing, and subscribing. It does go a long way, even if it's just just a click of the button. But I hope you all have a great night and stay spoopy, my friends. Goodbye.